News has just come out that researchers have discovered the origins of Earth's second moon. So then that begs the question, does Earth have a second moon? Well, yes and no. Now, ever since the April 8th, 2024 solar eclipse, people have reported seeing a second moon, or talks of seeing the second moon have really ramped up, because sightings of a second object that appears to look like the moon is nothing new. People have been reported seeing this object for quite some time. It's just that talks, for whatever reason, like I said, have really ramped up. There has even been an increasing number of video footage of this supposed second moon. Now, it's always important to remember that we do live in a TikTok day and age, a day and age of AI, a day and age of clout. So people will indeed fake photos and videos for clicks and views. But it seems like they, and when I say they, I am talking about the powers that be, they were mentally preparing us for over a year now in seeing the supposed second moon. Now, just as recent as yesterday, May 1st, there have been multiple news sources dropping multiple articles about the discovery of Earth's second moon. Our second moon, and they put it in quotes, our second moon probably came from our first, but an asteroid sampling mission could put this theory to the test. Well, even though people have, like I said, for quite some time now, reported seeing a second object that appeared to look like a second moon, when have we ever heard news, media, and researchers ever take it seriously? Matter of fact, I will go ahead and prove this because there was a sighting of two moons in Dubai. This sighting was in 2016. And nobody from any research team, news, and media have ever spoken about a moon-like object that appears in the sky alongside our moon. There has been no talks of a second moon because they said that the second moon that appeared in Dubai was a hologram. But listen to what this article says on sciencefocus.com and tell me, have you ever heard anything like this before? If you were told that the moon we see in our night sky isn't Earth's only one, you'd probably be a bit surprised. But some people have started to call the strange object that seems to orbit our planet Earth's second moon. And now scientists may have discovered where it came from. What? I mean, really, tell me, have you ever heard anything like that before? Now, this article continues to state, in fact, there are many moon-like objects around us in space, but only a handful of the over 200,000 near-Earth asteroids, NEAs, they even have an abbreviation for them, have similar orbits to Earth. Maybe what I'm thinking is that these NEAs are going to be the new UFOs. We're going to start seeing very bizarre things in the skies, like we already have, but it's going to increase, and they're going to say that what you're seeing is an NEA. Hey, there's a second moon in the sky that looks very similar to our moon. What's going on? Don't worry about it. It's an NEA. What does CERN do now? CERN has now put us in the second moon timeline. Has anybody checked their Berenstain Bear books lately to make sure the name of the Berenstain Bears has not changed again? They're probably now called the Borgelsteiners. But as I was saying, there are over 200,000 of these NEAs that have similar orbits to Earth. But one of these, catchily named 469219, Kamo'oalewa, this one really stands out because this NEA orbits the sun but moves in sync with our orbit, so appears to orbit the Earth. This makes it our quasi-moon, or to some an Apollo asteroid. So this second moon, this quasi-moon, is nowhere near as big as our original moon. This quasi-moon is potentially as big as the Statue of Liberty, and is anywhere between 40 and 100 meters across and rotates fast every 28 minutes. Generally, NEAs are space rocks that scientists think have come from the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, but new research reveals that this object may be more moon than asteroid. There have been a lot of talks about exploring the dark side of the moon.
Missions are wonderful, as recently demonstrated by the intuitive machine's successful lunar landing. So why are we not using the same techniques to get these lunar orbiters around the moon that China has?
Well, that's exactly what we're doing with the Eclipse mission, CLPS, that you mentioned. We are using commercial enterprises to bear the cost of landers, of which we put NASA instruments that in effect become scouts for us before we ever send our astronauts to that part of the moon. Now, is that what your question is?
Yeah, we're trying to get at what's the Chinese are doing, you think, on the backside of the moon. Do you have any insights in that?
They are going to have a lander on the far side of the moon, which is the side that's always in dark. We're not planning to go there.
And why not? And what's the benefit of doing so?
We don't know what's on the backside of the moon, so that would be something that they would discover. But our decision is that it's more profitable for us to go to the South Pole of the moon because we think that's where the water is.
So why do you think they made that decision? I'm curious.
I have no idea.
And come to find out that this object may not have come from an asteroid at all, but the dark side of the moon. The research team from Tsinghua University, China, used computer model simulations to test this theory. They found that this object's physical shape and orbit fit in being a fragment chipped off in a massive impact that caused a crater on the far side of the moon. Now, China actually has a mission in 2025 to explore and target this quasi-moon. But the United States and other countries do have a problem with China exploring the dark side of the moon because they have come out and stated that China is actually trying to control the dark side of the moon. But does this have anything to do with the moon, or are we trying to stop China from researching and gathering any information about whatever this object is that we are saying is a quasi-moon? Might this object in actuality have any relation to what we know as the Black Knight satellite? But before we get into that, this article does end with something weird. It states that the Earth could have millions of quasi-moons if we include all the small fragments that have been ejected into space by such collisions. So what are they telling us? Are they going to try to tell us that the Earth now has rings like Saturn? Wouldn't that be a weird timeline or parallel universe to be in, where the Earth now has Saturn-like rings? But what's even more bizarre is that they knew about this quasi-moon, the existence of this quasi-moon, back in 2016. But news and media are treating it like it's something new, like it's brand new information. For 5 years, there were not much articles about this second moon, but for whatever reason, articles are dropping left and right about this supposed quasi-moon. Matter of fact, back in 2023, they found a second quasi-moon known as FW13. But now, like with demon face syndrome, remember they knew about demon face syndrome back in 2020, they were researching and investigating it in 2021, and yet there were multiple articles about demon face syndrome, how is this brand new syndrome, being dropped in 2024, March of 2024. But now, news and media are really pushing hard to make sure that we know the existence of this second moon, this quasi-moon. But what's eerie, these multiple articles are dropping around the exact same time that people are taking videos, they're taking footage of what they believe is a second moon in space. And now, the researchers have a way to spin it. They have a way to label what people are seeing, just like once again with demon face syndrome. We are definitely living in very weird times, and it's very hard to tell what's real or what's fake given the invention of AI. But it seems like going back to 2016, going back to 2023, they were mentally preparing us into seeing this second object, these other moon-like objects that are surrounding the Earth. And now, like I said, they have a way to label and spin what we will be seeing. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.